So you are thinking about moving to Colorado Springs, but you're thinking, I'm not really sure if Colorado Springs is really the place for me, and you might be on the fence. Well, in today's video, I'm gonna be covering the top things I wish I knew before I moved to Colorado Springs, and we're getting into it next. Hey, what's up everyone? Mark Davis here and welcome to the Colorado Springs Life. And if this is the first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, working, and playing right here in Colorado Springs, then you're in the right place. And if you're thinking about moving to Colorado Springs in the coming months, then give us a call. My team and I, we get contacted from folks all over the country and we absolutely love it. So give us a call, shoot us a text, send us a DM, email us, whatever works best for you. We got your back when moving to the Springs. Okay, so you're thinking about moving to Colorado Springs. Well, today's video is all about the top things I wish I knew before moving to Colorado Springs. Now, this is not necessarily designed to knock Colorado Springs. It's not like everything's gonna be a negative thing or a bad thing. They're just things that I wish I would have known beforehand to kind of help me prepare better. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what's made my list. Okay, so first thing is the terrain. The way that Colorado Springs looks, it's not very flattering as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I know that Colorado Springs has this, what's called this rustic beauty or this, high desert sort of a, beauty. But in my opinion, Colorado Springs is kind of rough. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's brown. It's brown the majority of the time that you're here. So if you're thinking that because there's mountains and trees, that everything else around us is green, that's not the case. And so coming from a place that maybe is more green and lush, like, Florida or California or even parts of Texas, where it's green and there's water and it's lush and there's grass, not like here. I mean, it's brown the majority of the time. Now, that being said, in the springtime, Colorado Springs really comes alive. That's my favorite time of the year because everything is starting to pop up and the grass starts coming back, the trees are in bloom, and it's really pretty beautiful once it gets going. But the problem is it only lasts for a few months and then it starts getting brown again. Or not brown, but it starts, turning into fall, and then the leaves change. And now, with that being said, we do have 4 true seasons here. So if you do enjoy, your seasonal changes, then Colorado Springs, that could be considered a good thing. So just something to keep in mind. Next is master plan communities, or big, huge neighborhoods, big developed neighborhoods. The way that they build these neighborhoods is they put these houses on postage stamp size lots, and these lots are surrounded by, unfortunately, not private fences. And what I mean by that is, depending on where you're coming from, you're usually probably used to some sort of a fence, right? Like you're looking over and it's like 6 feet. Well, in Colorado Springs, a lot of these nicer, newer neighborhoods have 4-foot ranch style fences, which you pretty much, it serves no privacy whatsoever. I think that can be considered a negative thing if you're a person that likes your privacy. If you want to go out in the back of your, backyard and have your coffee and watch your kids run around and feel somewhat like it's private, then in a lot of these neighborhoods, it's not that way at all. Like for instance, Wolf Ranch, 4-foot height fences that are concrete, but there's absolutely, you can see right through them. There's no privacy whatsoever. So everybody that's walking behind your house or your neighbors that are facing you, you literally see right into your neighbor's backyard and their house whenever you're back in the backyard, and vice versa. No privacy. Now, if you're the kind of person that really, really likes to be around your neighbors. My wife and my situation with our last house, we didn't like that no privacy thing at all. I mean, we were on a corner lot. On paper, it made sense. More land, bigger house, more square footage on the lot, but it was literally like living in a fishbowl. That's how we felt. We had no privacy whatsoever. People walking behind our house, just, hey, there's whoever walking, cars driving, right next to our house, looking, plus we had a lot of landscaping done. So people would come from different neighborhoods and drive by our house and look at our landscaping, and we're like, who's this guy? And there's just no privacy whatsoever. So I've been told, and it's been kind of sold to me that, the neighborhoods make these really short fences with no privacy so that the community feels more connected. And then you're not really barricaded in your backyard. You can kind of go out and enjoy the neighborhood and in the green spaces within the neighborhood, like the walking trails. I kind of got on board with that idea. I was like, okay, that sort of makes sense. It just depends on your personality. But for me, any of these newer communities, chances are they're going to be shorter fences, 4 foot, what they call ranch style fences. If you have big dogs that are really rambunctious, that run around or like to be escape artists and jump over fences, they're gonna jump right over that fence. Some neighborhoods do a combination where they'll have like 6 foot cedar fence on the sides of the houses, and then there's privacy that way, and then the back fence is a ranch style, which could be a good thing depending on if you back up to open space or green space or green belt, then that would be maybe considered a desirable lot. But most of the time it's like the fence and then your neighbor. And so there's no privacy. So that's how they're building them these days. I don't know if that's going to change. I don't know if it's just a cost thing, but that's how they're building them these days. So next is military. We have a very strong military presence here in Colorado Springs. I mean, we have, the Air Force Academy is here. We have NORAD in Cheyenne Mountain, which is here. We have, Peterson Air Force Base, Schriever Air Force Base, Fort Carson. The new Space Force is here in the Springs. So people that are here in Colorado Springs there's like 200,000 card-carrying military here in Colorado Springs. It's just a big military community. So if you're walking around going to grocery store or dinner or movie or whatever, people usually ask you, are you military? That's the very first thing they ask you. And you're either yes or no. And then also military folks tend to migrate and come back to Colorado Springs, which is another thing. A lot of former military end up retiring here. Next is water. So we don't have a lot of water here. We're in the mountains, so there's not a whole lot of water. There are a few reservoirs that are close by. Well, not close, but the closest reservoirs I would say would be the Pueblo Reservoir down in Pueblo City, and that's down south, and that's 45 minutes away, and then the Chatfield Reservoir up north in Littleton, the city of Littleton. And so if you have a boat, if you're big time in the boating, it's going to be, I think, more expensive, and you won't have it in your backyard as much as maybe what you're used to or what you want. So that is, for some people, considered a big negative, especially if you're coming from a place, like Florida, for instance, where there's water everywhere, or even Texas. You get here, it's kind of dry here. So maybe have to think of a different recreational sport to get into, but not a whole lot of lakes here. And lastly, 300 days of sunshine here. Colorado Springs on average gets 300 days of sunshine, which is more than the majority of the rest of the country. The only 2 other states that beat us, that have more sunshine than we do, is Hawaii and then Arizona. And that's crazy because Colorado, you don't visualize in your mind Hawaii, Arizona, and then Colorado. People just don't. So coming here from a warm place or a hot place, guess what? You come here and we have more sunshine, chances are, than what you're used to or what you're coming from. But like I said before, it's a different kind of a heat. It's a different kind of a sunshine. We have thin, dry air here. We're close to the sun. So even though it's sunny, it could still be really cold. And then even though it might be snowing, it's still sunny. I mean, it's weird. It'll snow, but then the sun will come out. And it goes back and forth. So that might be something that is a big shift from what you're used to. Next is the Colorado state vehicle, which is the Jeep. And now I did not know that when I first came here. I was thinking, there's gonna be trucks and 4x4s, but then I was like, Jeeps are everywhere. The Jeep brand is big here. People love their Jeeps, and it's just like a culture thing. So much so that I actually got on board with this, and I actually decided to buy myself a Jeep because, like I've said in other videos, I had a very fast car, and I missed my M2. It was a beautiful, powerful car, German car, just a very powerful car. I missed that car a lot. BMW M2, I just thought that car was dope, but I was driving too fast. I was racing everybody. I was like Paul Walker. I was trying to race everybody. So my wife was like, "You're doing dumb stuff." and you're not being responsible. So I was like, all right, you know, she's right. I got to slow it down. And plus I drive a lot as a realtor. So I was like, okay, so let me buy a Jeep. So I went and bought a Jeep, and then I had the Jeep for a while. It was designed to be the winter vehicle. Anyway, long and short, Jeeps are really, really cool. It's just a low-key, chill vehicle that everyone likes. So the Jeep culture is just all around perfect for Colorado. You know, 4x4, capable vehicle, does well in the mountains, does well in any kind of terrain, is good on, well, I don't know if it's good on gas mileage. My vehicle's not that good on gas mileage, but it goes slow. I mean, and so that was good for me because I needed to force myself to drive slower. So that's why I got the Jeep primarily, is to literally have a funner vehicle that drives slow. But Jeeps are definitely, if you have a Jeep already, just bring it with you. You're gonna fit in perfect. And if you don't have a Jeep, then a Jeep would definitely be a good vehicle to consider because it basically does everything that you want it to do for the type of lifestyle and the type of terrain that we have here in Colorado Springs. So now, if you're still considering moving here and you want to know more about what Colorado Springs has to offer, then start by subscribing to the channel, hit that little bell notification button so you never miss out. And as always, my friends, until next time, Mark out.